I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Adam and Lam. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
It is spectacular, sir. It's a little bit early here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's the sun hasn't risen yet, but it's a crystal clear night sky, and it's really amazing.
Wow. So is that from Durham? Is that north, south, west, or east?
East,
Okay.
north, so it's, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was in North Carolina earlier this year. Pretty amazing place. Really serene, I would say.
Yeah. We're located in the western part of the state, close to the Blue Ridge and Great Smoky Mountains, and it's a great confluence of the Appalachian Trail and the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's really, really very beautiful.
It was wonderful. Well, my friend, do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time.
I would say that I have a very, very deep desire to make meaningful connections with other men in my life, and I think that that's probably why you and I are crossing paths. I'm really jazzed about what you're doing and what you're up to in the world, so I wanted to make sure that you and I connected in a profound way.
I appreciate that. It's really fascinating the way you unravel that question. It really is a matter of what you're doing, what I'm doing, that we would cross at this junction in the midst of everything to connect, to have this conversation. Isn't that fascinating, Adam?
Yeah, it seems like there's plenty of reasons out there for folks to become insulated and insular in their environments, and there's not a whole lot of pluses for folks to actually connect, other than it's what's made our species so successful, in that when we get around the fire and we can share stories and be open and transparent and vulnerable with one another, that's really when the magic starts to happen.
Most definitely. I mean, right now the fire is the Mac book in front of me and whatever you have in front of you. But hey, the core of it is the conversation, and I'm glad to have that with you right now. Right? Who did you learn the skill of understanding men from?
Well, I'd say that I haven't quite understood men completely, but I've been on the journey for quite a while to understand myself. But there was one gentleman in particular, his name is David Malpass, who I met here in Asheville, North Carolina, who was one of the first really pioneers of men's work in Asheville. Unfortunately, he passed away not too long after we created a men's circle here. But that was the first time I can remember co-creating a relationship with another man that didn't have to do anything with my business or my neighborhood or whatever. I overheard him at the YMCA having a conversation with another guy, and I said to myself, this is someone I need to know. So we'd have coffee every Friday morning, and just got to learn more and more about one another. And he taught me some really specific ways in which to communicate, not only with other men, but with other people, that was, about being present and, not, actually active listening to somebody and then bouncing it back to them in a way that you got that they were actually listening. And that's been a very powerful tool for me, for sure.
Yeah, I could well imagine. Why will you continue to repeat the usage of these tools?
Because it makes my heart sing. And I think that there's a great deal of power in when someone gets that you actually care enough to listen to them from a place of non-judgment and acceptance. It can be a truly transformative experience for them without really perceptively doing anything except being present to them.
Now, sum up for everyone that's listening exactly what you're offering to our amazing audience, please.
Well, currently I am willing to offer a free 30-minute relationship breakthrough conversation with me, a one-on-one. And also I would like to give away a free copy of my latest book, which is called Getting Comfortable with Being Uncomfortable.
That's intriguing. I didn't know he was going to say all of that, amazing audience. But here we go. So that's great. Where's the best place for them to connect with you?
Uh, they can email me at adam@adammlam.com, and I can send them all the information they need, a link to sign up for that complimentary one-on-one, and a link to pick up the book for sure.
There we go. What's one other thing, Adam, you've done consistently over the last 3 years?
Practice an attitude of gratitude.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel pretty spectacular. It's the one thing that I do consistently every morning. I get up before everyone else in the house gets up, and I spend about 15 to 20 minutes just being with myself and really focusing on the things that, the abundance that my life currently is, and the recognition of what my life already is helps me stay out of that either reminiscing about the past or projecting into the future. It allows me to be absolutely 100% present in my day.
Suggest to someone that's listening why they should even consider the idea of doing that as well.
Because it settles your heart down. It's a way to connect your heart to the center of the earth, so that you stand in your own personal power, and not in a way of being antagonistic or or anything like that, but a person who's rooted in their own authenticity and grounded in the magic that their life already is it allows them to be softer in the world.
Amazing audience. You're hearing it live here from Adam Lam. Adam M. Lam. There we go. Adam, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Adam, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I want to say I was 5 years old, and my mother took me to the university pool to teach me how to swim. And she took me out to the deep end of the pool. My arms were around her neck, and as she was smiling at me, she took my hands from around her neck and started swimming away from me.
Wow. And this is the first time, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I was about 5 years old, and I think the memory was so clear because at the time, she was the center of my world and security, and for her to swim away from me kind of filled me with panic, and that, oh my gosh, maybe the world isn't quite as safe as I thought it was going to be.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Learning to trust more, just because I couldn't see how I was going to be able to swim at that moment. I didn't have the mechanics in my body. Or if I have a situation that comes up now, I don't necessarily have to have the answer right at hand, but I do have to trust that a process will make itself known in the journey of itself. So the qualifying moment is to take action, and then allow life to redirect me back to that which is the highest. But it's to get out of contemplation and into action.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Please. I'd love to hear that.
I love the idea of the setup and wisdom in action. So your mother actually did something that I think other men don't do. And here's what I relate it to. A man might take you and throw you into the sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't swim, and he'll just throw you into the sea, right?
Yeah.
But to see the setup of what your mother did that expressed empathy, that expressed compassion, where she was there in the pool, right? The buoyancy of the water, of course, not being as harsh as other instances could be. However, she set that up where she was there, and then she went not too far, I'm guessing, of course, but in reach, which is fascinating because in our lives, so many times we need that those elements where there's a setup for us to then learn how to develop our own selves, our own individuality.
I think that's absolutely apropos. And as you were saying that, I was reliving it in my mind, and I realized that she was never so far out of reach in the pool that I was just on the verge of panicking, but she was like maybe a few strokes away from me and stayed that distance consistently until I got my motor reflexes under control. And it made me think of like the best mentors or leaders that, frame a particular job for an apprentice or for a mentee to execute, but they stay just close enough to be able to, catch you if you're really going to fall flat on your face, but there is some growth attached to that uncomfortability for sure.
Yeah. Beautiful picture. Wow. Is your mother still alive?
Oh yeah. She's she's a pretty amazing woman.
She's a fireball, I would imagine.
Oh yes, man. She's full-blooded Cuban, and the Latinas is the Caribbean. They're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, love it. All right, my friend. Well, if we fast forwarded to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
It was the very first 45 record I ever bought as a 12-year-old boy, and it was "Go All the Way" by a band called the Raspberries. And I remember going into the record store to buy it, and it seemed like such a really cool thing. The acquisition of the very first piece of music that I could actually call my own, which had a great influence. Music has had a huge influence on me since that day.
Isn't it intriguing, though, that your mother left you there so that you can go all the way by yourself?
She's been a big advocate of my sovereignty, and I remember one time I called her, and when I was having a particular tough time, and I basically just wanted her to tell me that everything was going to be okay, but instead she was kind of like just telling me, Adam, pull up your bootstraps, get out there, keep going.
Yeah.
And I don't know which would have served me more, but in the end, her kind of goading me into action was exactly what I needed at that moment.
Love it. What's her name?
Isabel.
There we go. Hi, Isabel. Love it. Well, Adam, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Adam?
I am, sir.
Adam, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married? Sorry?
I am.
What did you say? 2 million? Sorry?
2 million men.
And there we go. How much have you had so far?
I would say about 10,000 so far in all my times. But
well done.
Now it's time to yield out, right?
Yeah, well, the momentum is an amazing factor, so keep going. Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I do not.
How about 3 hours a week?
Probably a little bit more than 3 hours a week, sure.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I would say right around 8.
If you, Adam, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Adam Lamb, Adam M. Lamb, what would you say that is?
I would say that you have value. You are the gift.
Love it. Adam, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I am just in deep gratitude for everybody listening to this, and in deep gratitude for you, Engel, for going out and putting yourself on the line to achieve this amazing quest that you're on. And I feel well met, man. So I'm very excited about the deepening of our friendship.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I look forward to it as well. It took me 1,952 conversations to you, Adam. So, but it's a great pleasure. Adam,
my pleasure.
You're welcome, my friend. Adam M. Lam, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.